Okay, well, welcome everyone. Thank you for being here. And we'll begin with the verse of the Kesa. Vast is the robe of liberation, a formless field of benefaction. I wear the Tathagata's teaching, freeing all creations. Vast is the robe of liberation, a formless field of benefaction. I wear the Tathagata's teaching, freeing all creations. Vast is the robe of liberation, a formless field of benefaction. I wear the Tathagata's teaching, freeing all creations. There's plenty of room up here if you want, and there's a service guide right there, and actually might be some there on the end. God of Atonement. All evil karma ever committed by me since of old, on account of my beginningless greed, anger, and ignorance, born of my body, mouth, and thought, now I atone for it all. All evil karma ever committed by me since of old, on account of my beginningless greed, anger, and ignorance, born of my body, mouth, and thought, now I atone for it all. All evil karma ever committed by me since of old, on account of my beginningless greed, anger, and ignorance, born of my body, mouth, and thought, now I atone for it all. Please stand for the incense offering. Three bows. The fragrance of this incense invites the awakened mind to be present. It fills our sacred space, guards our minds from wrong thinking. The fragrance of this incense unites us with virtue, mindfulness, and wisdom. We offer it on behalf of all beings. Be seated. Homage to the Buddha. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. I go to the Buddha for refuge. Being one with the Buddha, I resolve that each day follow the way of life he laid down for us to walk and awaken to his supreme wisdom. I go to the Dharma for refuge. One with the Dharma, the gates of Dharma are manifold. To enter them all, goal of wisdom is ever beyond. I shall attain it. I go to the Sangha for refuge. Being one with the Sangha, in the spirit of universal fellowship, and as a member of the Sangha, I pledge to strive for the enlightenment of all beings. The Metta Sutta. This is what should be done by one who is skilled in goodness and who knows the path of peace. Let them be able and upright, straightforward and gentle in speech, humble and not conceited, contented and easily satisfied, unburdened with duties and frugal in their ways, peaceful and calm and wise and skillful, not proud and demanding in nature. Let them not do the slightest thing that the wise would later reprove, wishing in gladness and in safety may all beings be at ease. Whatever living beings there may be, whether they are weak or strong, omitting none, the great or the mighty, medium, short or small, the seen and the unseen, those living near and far away, those born and to be born, may all beings be at ease. Let none deceive another or despise any being in any state. Let none through anger or ill will wish harm upon another. Even as a mother protects with her life her child, her only child, so with a boundless heart should one cherish all living beings, radiating kindness over the entire world, spreading upward to the skies and downward to the depths, outward and unbounded, freed from hatred and ill will, whether standing or walking, sitting or lying down, free from drowsiness. One should sustain this recollection. This is said to be the sublime abiding. By not holding to fixed views, the pure-hearted one, having clarity of vision, being freed from all sense desires, is not born again into the world of suffering. May I be happy and well. May no harm come to me. May I learn compassion. May all my friends, family, and those I love be happy and well. May no harm come to them. May they learn compassion. May all those troubled in body, mind, and spirit be happy and well. May no harm come to them. May they learn compassion. May all those who have hurt me in body, mind, and spirit be happy and well. May no harm come to them. May they learn compassion. May all those I have hurt in body, mind, and spirit be happy and well. May no harm come to them. May they learn compassion. May all my enemies be happy and well. May no harm come to them. May they learn compassion. May all living beings be happy and well. May no harm come to them. May they learn compassion. So this is the first Wednesday of the month. So we'll do a guided meditation. Seem to be doing this more and more frequently, but because of the nature of things going on in the world today, I think it's appropriate to develop goodwill and compassion for all beings. So we'll do that. To begin, just go ahead and take a few deep breaths. Let your abdominal muscles be nice and relaxed, belly soft, so your lungs can fill and empty completely, smoothly. And let your breath settle into a comfortable, natural rhythm. No need to breathe any special way, but be aware, breathing in, be aware, breathing out. And as you exhale, just let this thought ride silently on your breath as if it were just arising from your heart as you breathe out. May I be happy and well. And as we're doing this, remember that this means now, in this moment. Having the happiness, the peace that arises in the heart and that's found in the present moment. May I be happy and well. May I be free from ill will. And if any animosity, anger, bad feelings toward anyone arise in your mind while we're meditating, just let that go. Give yourself freedom from anger for these next few minutes. May I be free from animosity. May I be free from stress and affliction. Any stressful thoughts, feelings, sounds, anything like that come into your awareness. Let them go or let them be with no need to cling or push away. And may I look after myself with ease. And whatever pulls the mind this way or that way, just guard your mind carefully. Come back to the object of meditation calmly, with compassion and understanding for yourself. And call to mind a close loved one or a teacher who's shown you great kindness. Someone like that, someone you cherish. And extend this wish for happiness to them. Visualize them or think of their name. May they be happy and well. May they be free from animosity. And you can think of these things as if they're a warmth radiating from your heart or a light coming from your center, touching them with your wish for their freedom from stresses and suffering and your wish for their well-being. May they be free from animosity, free from stress, free from affliction. May my loved one look after themselves with ease. And expand your radiance of goodwill a little bit farther out to include a friend. So call to mind a friend, think of their name or visualize them. And this could be someone who's been helpful to you or just someone that you like spending time with. Could be a spiritual friend, a close companion. May they be happy and well. May they be free from animosity, free from stress and affliction. May my friend look after themselves with ease. And you can think of a neutral person, an acquaintance, someone you may not know well, but you know that they share your desire for happiness, well-being, freedom from stresses and difficulties. May they be happy and well, extending that thought, that radiance a little farther. May they be free from animosity, free from stress, free from affliction. May my acquaintances look after themselves with ease. And think of someone you'd like to help. This could be a friend or a loved one or an acquaintance that you know is going through a tough time. Could be the people of a nation at war who are experiencing suffering, violence. Whoever you'd like to help, let them come to mind. Extend the wish that they be happy and well. And may they be free from suffering. And think of the people in the world who are adversarial to you or to others. People who, because they're confused, because karma has made them unskillful, because they're suffering in ways that maybe we can't even understand and don't know. But their suffering leads them to cause suffering for others. And let's wish that they find the awakening they need, that they find compassion, that they learn the value of compassion, that they be transformed so that they can be happy. May they be happy and well. May they be free from suffering. And finally, extend that thought to all beings. May all beings be happy and well. May all beings be free from anger, from ill will, from hatred. May all beings be free from stress and the causes of stress, free from suffering and the causes of suffering. May all beings live with ease and gladness. And to end the meditation, take a couple of deep breaths. Stop the sending and receiving. Just sit quietly with your attention at your heart. You have this wellspring of infinite goodwill and compassion always available to you. Buddha nature pervades the whole universe, existing right here now and reciting the sutras, hearing the Dharma, and training the mind. Great merit is attained. We dedicate this merit to the great Master Shakyamuni Buddha, the all-pervading and everlasting three treasures, to all ancestors of this Sangha and all beings in the Dharma world. May the Dharma body maintain strength and health, and years of life be lengthened for all teachers of this Sangha. Let their vows be fully realized, and may they live in perfect peace with Buddha Dharma. We pray for the health and well-being of those suffering from diseases of body, mind, or spirit, and those ministering to the sick and to the grieving. We pray for all those suffering from violence, from warfare, from oppression, for the oppressed, the imprisoned, and all refugees. May they be serene through all their troubles, and may we realize the enlightened way together. Sabbe sata sadahantu avera sukha jivino katang punya phalang maihang sabbe bhagi bhavantu te. May all beings always live happily, free from animosity. May all share in the blessings springing from the good I have done. There's room up here if y'all want to come closer. You can stay back there if you're comfortable. It's up to you. So it's Ash Wednesday. They're actually having an Ash Wednesday service when I walked in here today to set up. And there was we had an Ash Wednesday service at Stetson today, of course. Father Medina came in from the Catholic Church here in town, St. Peter. And I like Ash Wednesday. Of all the Christian holy days, it's the most Buddhist one. And I got the ashes too. That's always really meaningful to me. I'm not Catholic, never was. But there's a lot in that service that is that reminds me very directly of things that come from Buddhism. And you know, there's this speculation out there that Jesus encountered Buddhists somewhere along the way, maybe during his periods of when he sort of disappeared from the historical record. I kind of doubt it. I mean, it's possible that Buddhism was 500 years older than Christianity, and it spread along the trading routes, the Silk Roads, and all that stuff. So it's possible that there were some Buddhist monks floating around somewhere that he could have encountered. But I think it's more likely that just all the great religions in the world have a lot in common. And that especially when it comes to the things that are really important. If you look even at Buddhism and some of the scriptures and some of the rules of running monasteries and things like that, there are things that the Buddha said that are really important and that are really eternal, and that are, the first noble truth was the first noble truth then, it's the first noble truth now, and it's going to be the first noble truth 2,500 years from now, probably. There were also things that were sort of cultural context kind of stuff, and I don't think those things are that important. Things that, were added on as Buddhism spread and that sort of thing that really kind of fit the societies that it encountered. But the stuff that are really important, I think we find in a lot of different religious contexts. And so, and I don't think truth belongs to any particular religion. I think that we just need different ways of accessing the truth. At the end of the service, we say something about Dharma gates being boundless. There are countless Dharma gates you could have gone through. They all take you to the same truth. And, I think you could, I've met people that I thought were enlightened from a number of different religions. And so when you get something like, from dust you came and to dust you will return, well, that's pretty universal teaching, We acknowledge this too. In fact, in the Theravada temple, we do some chanting every day, talking about where we come from, and it's acknowledgement that what we see as physical form is a little on the dirty side. The verse is something like this: body from the hair of the head to the soles of the feet, enveloped by the skin, is filled with manifold things, all of them unclean. So when the priest is putting ashes on people today and goes, he was talking about the conferral, I think that's the term they use, conferral of the ashes. He says, we come from dust and dirt, and it's not pure, it's a little, I think he might have used the word filth. But, last week I talked about no mud, no lotus. The lotus comes up out of the mud. And we are pure in form, and if we want to transcend form, we purify the mind. But do good, avoid evil, purify the mind. That's the basic Buddhist instruction. And so we talk about that when we do the opening, very opening of the service. After the verse of the Kesa, we do the Gata of Atonement, which is all evil karma ever committed by me since of old on account of my beginningless greed, anger, and ignorance, born of my body, mouth, and thought. Now I atone for it all. So this is recognition that we come into this form as a result of past actions that were, to use one translation you could use, unwholesome. So we don't really like to think about that, I think a lot of modern Buddhists like to think we're beyond such concerns, maybe. But the reality is, no mud, no lotus. No recognition of mud, still no lotus, So I was having this conversation with somebody recently about why we use the word evil. So in some translation, you go to some Zen centers, you'll see the Gata of Atonement, and it says all harmful karma ever committed by me, etc., etc. The accurate translation is probably more in line with unwholesome or maybe negative. But, evil kind of works. And so I thought about this a lot before I decided what I was going to use here. All evil karma. So we don't like the word evil because it has these connotations of, something supernatural or whatever, that kind of thing. But it explains in the Gata itself what is meant by evil. It's evil because it's rooted in greed, anger, and ignorance. So by definition, if it comes out of those three poisons, it has evil intention. Now that doesn't mean that the devil made us do it, right? Or something like that. What it is, there's not one perfect word that would really sum this up, but we don't want to have an aversion to words either. So we're looking at willful action. Karma is willful action. So it's all karma, all willful action, born of body, mouth, and thought. So actions of body, things I've done physically with my body, things that I've said, and things that I've thought. Now, the tricky one, that's kind of a tricky one there, thought. Others are maybe too, a little bit, but thoughts arise unbidden. That's not karma. If I'm sitting at a traffic light, somebody I don't like happens to cross in the crosswalk in front of my car, and the thought arises, you're not going to run over that guy. That's not karma. That's just a thought that has arisen. I've used this term before. Soen Roshi, I think it was Soen Roshi, called those secretions of the mind. They're things that just come up. What is karma, though, is how I respond to that. So if I respond by thinking of all the reasons why this guy deserves to get run over, or all the things that I could do instead of running him over so I don't go to jail or whatever, if I engage in a lot of hateful thinking, that's karma. Okay. So because that's a willful action. It's a willful action of mind. If I yell out the window at him, hey, you SOB, whatever, that's karma of speech, born of my body, speech, and mind. I'm not even going to think about actually running him over. None of us would ever do a thing like that. But these thoughts arise, and we don't really own our thoughts. They're not ours, but we do own the results of our actions. So what thinking we do, what talking we do, what acting we do is a result of what arises into the mind. That's what's willful. And so we're saying that these actions that are based on greed. So what is greed? Let's just say that greed is kind of the idea or the philosophy that having more is going to make us happy. Being willing to exploit others or steal to enrich ourselves, to behave unethically and so on, is a form of that, but also having a life that's really based around gain, what the Buddha called gain upon gain. It's just making money to make money, basically. It's not doing something good, and by the way, you get prosperous as a result of it. There's nothing wrong with prosperity. The problem is the sort of empty money making. So, that's where right livelihood comes in, which unfortunately the Buddha doesn't go into a lot of detail about right livelihood, which is probably good because most of the things people did for a living 2,500 years ago, we don't do anymore anyway. But, it's not about, you can be rich and not be greedy. You can really want to be very successful, and you can be very successful and not be greedy. But when greed gets you to do things that harm others, whether deliberately or negligently, then that's where it's a problem. But also clinging to things. So greed isn't always just about money. It can be about power. It can be, it can be about esteem from others. Any number of things that we think I don't have enough of this, I need more, and having more of it will make me happy, is rooted in greed. And it's potentially harmful. And these are why these things, why the God of Atonement and places like that refer to these as evil, is because they cause suffering in ourselves and or others. So anger. So let's say ill will, hatred, things like that. Thinking that to harm someone is somehow going to right something, right or wrong, by causing harm. And in Buddhism, hatred is never appeased by hatred. Only by non-hatred is hatred appeased. And you can look at, I think, so I'm not a Christian, and I have absolutely no credential that gives no expertise in this, but if I were going to try to explain what Jesus meant when he talked about turning the other cheek, that's probably kind of where we're going. Anger is only appeased by non-anger. That does not mean that we can't advocate for justice. It doesn't mean that we can't hold people accountable for things that they've done. It doesn't mean that we have to just sit around and let people behave badly or run us over or bomb us or whatever without doing anything to try to protect ourselves or protect others that we're in a position to protect. It just means that we can do it without hating anyone. So what's the difference? You kind of have to figure that one out for yourself. Anybody here a lawyer? Any attorneys here? So a really good lawyer can win, and I mean really be ruthless, and still like the people that that they're doing that to, right? It's a matter of having your mind in the right place, to do what needs to get done. But it doesn't have to be a personal thing. It doesn't have to be an attack on someone or an attempt to harm someone. It's just doing the right thing. And ignorance really is misunderstanding what causes suffering and then doing harmful things as a result of that. So, we do that a lot when we think that if we change a circumstance, we're going to feel better. When actually what we need to do to feel better is change our mind. That doesn't mean that circumstances can't be difficult and that we can't do what we can to fix circumstances that are challenging to ourselves and others, that cause suffering in and of themselves. But we should always look at our minds first, too, and go, what are we doing with our mind to create suffering that may be unnecessary? So, it's important that we think about things like our mortality, which is what Ash Wednesday ultimately is a good reminder of, that we're here fairly briefly. It's unlikely that any of us is going to live much more than 100 years. I'd like to live forever, but it's probably not going to happen. So we have to take these moments pretty seriously. So I'm preaching to the choir here, I know, because y'all are here. But there are people who are watching this online. And sometimes we'll get over 1,000 views on one of these things. And I know these people are not all going to services somewhere. So I mention this because it happens once in a while, more than once in a while. It's happened many times that I'll get a call from somebody, from a family member or an individual, or like this week it was somebody from one of the hospices saying that, this fellow is dying and wants to see me. And it's somebody I've never heard of before. And I said, well, why do they want to see me? Well, they're a Buddhist, and they want to see a Buddhist before they die. And I said, okay, well, that's fine. Do you have any idea what kind of Buddhist? No, they don't actually practice. They've just been reading about it. So there's nothing wrong about reading about Buddhism. But on your deathbed is not the best time to start practicing any spirituality. Doesn't mean it's too late, but it'd do you a lot more good if you started a lot earlier. So if you're out there in internet land and thinking about these things, don't keep your Buddhism on a bookshelf. Live this practice as much as we can, because we don't get a lot of time. And so we need to take advantage of the time we have. So that's really all I have for you this evening. Any questions or comments from anyone? And I'm not looking at I don't have my phone up, so if anybody's posting questions online, I don't know it. You want to use the mic so that the people at home can hear you? It feels so weird saying that.
It's on right now.
You can take that out of the thing, I think, if you want to. There you go.
Well, my question is when you were talking to the Gata Atonement, when it says on account of my beginningless greed, anger, and ignorance.
Oh, yeah, good question. Thank you for asking that. Okay. You want to know what does that mean, beginningless?
Yeah, I haven't thoughts about it, but I'd like to hear it from you.
Why don't you keep that out, because then if anybody else has a question, you can pass it off to them. So the Gata says, on account of my beginningless greed, anger, and ignorance. So the idea is that we've been in these cycles of coming and going forever, through multiple comings and goings of universes, perhaps. We don't know. We don't know how many Big Bangs there have been, right? So the reason we're here now is because of stuff that has happened in the past. Now, if you look at this in terms of classical Buddhism and the idea of rebirth, and we come into being as one thing, and then we live out that karma and die, and we come into being as another thing because of that karma, and so on. That's one way of looking at it. But the other way of looking at it is, I can only be here as a result of causes and conditions that happened before I ever existed, before my parents existed, before their parents existed, right? Going back to beginningless time. And so that's what it's talking about. The karma that brought me here now originated infinitely long ago. Not all of that karma, by the way, was negative. We're not talking about like the original sin that goes back to the beginningless time. Because the reason we're human beings is because there's at least some good karma, to be a human being in a place where the Dharma is available is the result of having done good at some point in the past. Also, we have Buddha nature. And so it's because of our Buddha nature that we're here now practicing and moving forward spiritually. So that's not included in the Gata of Atonement, but it's kind of implicit in the idea of beginningless time being what brought us here. Does that answer your question? Okay, good. Any other questions while Neil's got the microphone in his hand?
You've got to close the service with, friends. Living and dying is of supreme importance.
Right.
Can you tell us a little bit about where you found that or what inspired you to share that with us?
Yeah, that comes from Zen Master Dogen, the founder of Soto Zen. It's the way he would sometimes close services. And so in that tradition, they use that sometimes as a closer.
It's very powerful, and it seems to be a very good summary of your talk tonight. Yeah,
it is a good one. One of the guys at the prison started wanting to use that, and so I said, yeah, go for it. He knew it, I didn't, so he recited it. And it does have that sort of like, okay, I better take this stuff seriously, kind of an impact on your mind. Yeah,
that's good.
So good. Thank you for bringing that up. Any other questions? Yeah. Yeah, let him get the mic to you, because otherwise the people online won't hear you.
You were saying that we all have Buddha nature. Are you born with that, or is that something that
you had it before you were born? So Buddha nature is the seed of awakening. It's the possibility of enlightenment. Okay? The possibility to yourself become a Buddha. So at heart, we're all Buddhas. And this is a whole other great big conversation, but I won't talk about it tonight. It would take too long. But at heart, we all have this ability to awaken, and that's what our Buddha nature is. So when we drop greed and hatred and ignorance, and we clear the dust away, what's left is the Buddha nature, the purity of enlightenment, of awakening. So instead of original sin, we have original Buddha. Anything else? Dr. Brandon, were there any questions online? Okay. All right. Well, thank you all very much. Let's do the great vows. Creations are numberless. I vow to free them. Delusions are inexhaustible. I vow to transform them. Dharma gates are boundless. I vow to enter them. The enlightened way is unsurpassable. I vow to embody it. Creations are numberless. I vow to free them. Delusions are inexhaustible. I vow to transform them. Dharma gates are boundless. I vow to enter them. The enlightened way is unsurpassable. I vow to embody it. Creations are numberless. I vow to free them. Delusions are inexhaustible. I vow to transform them. Dharma gates are boundless. I vow to enter them. The enlightened way is unsurpassable. I vow to embody it. Friends, I respectfully remind you, life and death are of supreme importance. Time swiftly passes by and opportunity is lost. Each of us must strive to awaken. Awaken! Take heed. Do not squander this life. Thank you.